Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today I have a story for you that spans across 3 subreddits with 3 updates. The last update coming 4 years after the original story. Before we start that, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and you can always change your mind later. But if you stick around, my friend Carmen here just might have some cookies for you in the near future. Alright, on to our story and updates. Let's jump right in. This story comes to us from Undulating Wave. My 28 male, ex-girlfriend 27 female, sister 22 female, is still living with me over a year after breakup. I was with my ex-girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, from secondary school. We'd been together for 10 years and were working hard to save up and get married. We were working in different cities about 70 miles apart, but I would get the train every weekend to be with her. Anyway, when her sister, let's call her Katie, applied to university in my city, she lived in halls for the first year, but couldn't really afford a place to live in a decent location. So I said that she could come and live with me rent-free. It wasn't weird at all. I'd known her since she was 9. It made everything more manageable for her family. Everything was okay for about a year, even nice. She was tidy, pretty much kept to herself. Had a few friends over, but didn't party or bring boyfriends home while I was there. I assume she did at weekends when I was away. Just over a year and a half ago, Sarah told me she'd been cheating on me in a massive way. She had been in a relationship with another guy for about 3 months and had been living in his house, only coming back to the flat at weekends when I was coming down to visit. She decided that she wanted to live with him openly and was tired of lying to me. She admitted that most weekends she would find time to go back and have nookies with him if there was an opportunity to. It was a horrible shock and I felt completely numb for weeks. Katie was busy with university and was unbelievably nice about the whole thing. She stayed out of my way and got on with her studies. Didn't bring friends or boyfriends home. She finished her degree. I assumed that she would move on and move out, but she got a job at the university admin department and is still living here. It's not awkward for me in terms of living with her, but it's really difficult to explain to friends, and it's still a little painful because she looks a lot like Sarah. I don't feel comfortable saying to women that I live with my cheating ex-girlfriend's little sister, but I can't exactly tell her to find somewhere else, because none of this is really her fault. What should I do? Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Teresaz. It says, yes, you can ask Katie to move out. She's a grown adult who has finished her degree and has a job. At a bare minimum, she should be paying rent and her share of utilities. Frankly, the assumption that you will continue to house her for free is galling. However, if you want to continue having your friend, Katie, as a roommate, that isn't anyone else's business. That said, it sounds like you might be able to move on with life and relationships and such more easily if Katie moved out. I recommend that you tell her that it's time for you to have your own space, and she has until the end of June to move out. Another comment down below comes from a deleted account. It says, I mean, she can't live with you forever. I'm sure she understands that the generosity of living with you rent-free was predicated on you being with her sister, and will probably not be surprised if you ask her to move out. It's true she didn't do anything wrong, but neither did you, and if this arrangement isn't working for you anymore, it's your right to tell her that. You have to protect your own well-being. You don't have to just kick her out, but it sounds like it's time to sit down and discuss a timeline for her finding her own place. OP, what this really comes down to is whether you want her there or not. You could tell her that you can't move on from your relationship with her there because she reminds you too much of your ex. That would be completely reasonable. Or if you're okay with her being there, continue on as you are. But maybe tell her it's time to start paying rent, because you do have a full-time job. Alright, we have 3 updates to this story, and it goes in a direction that you probably are thinking it goes in. So let's jump into update number 1. Alright, the update is titled, Am I the Butthole for Dating My Ex-Girlfriend's Younger Sister? I, 28 male, been with Sarah, 27 female, not her real name, since we were teenagers and we were living in different cities, trying to save up enough for a house together. Her sister Katie, 22 female, again not her real name, applied to university in my city, and after a year in halls moved in with me for economy's sake. We'd known each other forever, it was fine, solved problems all around. Just over a year and a half ago, Sarah told me she'd been cheating on me in a massive way. She'd been in a relationship with another guy for about 3 months, and had been living in his house, only coming back to the flat at weekends when I was coming down to visit. She decided that she wanted to live with him openly and was tired of lying to me. She admitted that most weekends, she would find time to go back and have nookies with him if there was an opportunity to once I had fallen asleep. It was a horrible shock and I felt completely numb for weeks. After 18 months, Katie was still living with me, non-romantically. I wasn't sure what to do about this, and when I posted on r/relationships, I was just coming round to the realization that I liked having her around and didn't want her to leave. Since I posted, we've spent more time together socially, and on Monday, I asked if she'd like to go for dinner as a kind of date. We had a really nice time. We kissed once, but we didn't go further. We both realize this is a complex situation and want to take things slowly. I can't help feeling that I'm irretrievably a butthole though, am I? OP added an edit down below this one. It says, edit, thank you for all your comments. Whether you buttholed me or not, is that the correct verb? We have had a long talk, first just between us, and then with her dad and aunt. Her mom died 6 years ago. They've been very supportive since Sarah and I broke up, and we wanted to involve them before going any further. We are going to take things very slowly, and her dad is going to pay half rent. He offered to pay to help her move out, as some people had suggested, but for financial reasons, that would be difficult for him and impossible for her to manage financially. We haven't decided about telling Sarah. I haven't spoken to her since it happened, and Katie has only spoken to her in occasional messages. We have talked about everything that has been raised on here at some length. It is a difficult situation, and there is a power dynamic that we have done what we can to mitigate. Ultimately, we do have feelings for each other and have for some time. I would absolutely never have dated her for revenge or for any other reason, and I would never do anything to hurt or upset her. I understand if you still think I'm a butthole, but I'm trying my best. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called HeyGirl333. It says, not the butthole. I mean, your ex would be kind of an idiot to not at least suspect something might go down with her sister, who she knows is living with you after she cheated. If it's consensual, I don't see much of an issue. For the record, this really should be something the little sister should be posting. You're a bit older and in a slight position of power over her in a way, so tread lightly. If she was smart, she wouldn't crap where she ate, and she needs to communicate what's going on with her own sister when she's ready. That's not your responsibility in any way, shape, or form. OP responded and said, this is my problem. I know I'm in a position of power, and I'm trying to be sensitive to the potential of being a butthole about it. The same commenter replied to OP and said, yeah, I mean, you already shot your shot. I don't know how else to say this. But unless you guys get married, this situation will get messy for so many more reasons than your ex-girlfriend. She's in college, right? You're gonna put her in a position where she feels like she has to please you, whether or not she's genuinely into you after she gets to know you romantically. It's not like she can break up with you and then resume dating normally while living in your house. Maybe just heal and don't jump on this young girl just because she's nice and in your vicinity. I get that she's probably a wonderful person, but let's be honest, you're being exceptionally lazy. Let her live her youth guilt-free or wait until she moves out. Do not tell her, I'll date you after you move out. Get out of the house and at least try, because you're putting her in a crap position, but also, at the end of the day, you're both adults. That's just my opinion. Another commenter down below called Disco the Cube said, everyone sucks here. This is just a bad idea for everyone involved. There are literally millions of women you could date who you don't have such a messy history with. Think about the long term. If things go well, do you really want to sit across from the cheater and the Cheeto every Thanksgiving? Do you want Katie to feel like she has to choose sides? Make a clean break with this family and go meet some new people. Alright, I can see the power dynamic here, but I can also see that they are both adults at this point and can make their own decisions, especially since we know that her dad is willing to pay half the rent. That likely means that her dad's willing to pay half the rent if she moves out and lives somewhere else, so it is her choice to stay there. I feel like if you're willing to put up with the awkward family functions in the future, then you've gotta shoot your shot, because we only live once and why not be happy? Alright, let's get into OP's second update. Alright, OP's update is titled, Update, Am I the Butthole for Dating My Ex-Girlfriend's Younger Sister? I have had 2 requests for updates and I'm not sure if there's a threshold, but I thought I'd share anyway, in case anyone was curious, and to say thank you for the advice. It did shape the way we went about getting together, who we told, and when, etc. Our families have been incredibly supportive, and we are really happy together. It has been about a month, but it feels so perfectly right. We have had endless conversations about our feelings and our plans. We have started to redecorate the house, and we are planning to go on holiday together in the summer. It feels so much more wonderful than I had ever imagined it would be. I don't know what else to add, but if you ever find yourself in a difficult situation, talking it through is so important. Everybody feels safer and better about everything when you communicate. All the best. All the comments below this one were congrats for OP, and I want to echo that. So congrats OP, because you've got somebody that's right for you, and it sounds like you're right for her as well. That was just a really quick update. Let's get into OP's last one now. Alright, this update from OP comes over 4 years later from the previous post we read. It's titled My 33 male, fiance 27 females, sister 32 female, wants to come to our wedding. She's also my ex. Is there a good way of resolving this? We're now engaged and we're starting to plan the wedding for early next year. The relationship between my fiance and her sister, my ex, is better than it was. They exchange messages at birthdays and Christmas, but don't meet up or exchange presents. She is still single and now lives abroad, and she found out about the engagement a couple of months ago. At Christmas, she mentioned needing to know the date early to book the cheapest flights home, and my fiance was too shocked to reply. She doesn't want her sister there. I'm too excited about getting married to care too much one way or the other. I'd prefer her not to be there, but I'd roll with it if necessary. My fiance doesn't want her there, but all her family assume it will be fine for the day because it's a family wedding. And it should all be water under the bridge. I can't stress enough how little I care about the sister being there or not. I just want everyone else to be as happy at the wedding as I'll be. Impossible. Or as close to that as I can manage. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Sweet Serenity. It says, listen to your fiance and don't go against her. It's her family and her wants. If she doesn't want her sister there, then no sister. Support her 100%. You will need to encourage her to be firm and straight up with her family, especially her sister. No beating around the bush and not communicating. Anyone who has an issue can be disinvited. Consider having security on the day and give the security a heads up of the situation and what she looks like. OP responded to this one and said, this is probably right, I think. Another user down below called Amaranthesque said, your fiance should get to decide this one, and the two of you will need to be a firm, united front with her family. You don't need to explain yourselves. You just need to repeat that she's not invited and you aren't going to discuss it, and then change the subject. It's not going to be fun, but it's your fiance's family, and if she'd rather deal with this than have her sister at the wedding, just support her. This one is definitely your fiance's decision, and if she doesn't want her there, well, that's what's happening. That's your answer. You need to support your fiance because it's her sister, and her opinion is the only one that matters here. I mean, I can't even imagine you'd be fighting for her to be at the wedding. This was the woman that cheated on you 5 years ago. Your job here is to provide the moral support that your fiance needs to make this decision and stand behind her in it completely. Congrats on your wedding, OP. I hope everything goes well.